This episode of the Gold Blooded Podcast is brought to you by mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag. Use promo code GOLDBLOOD, one word, to match up to 100% of your initial deposit.
3rd and 3. We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. It's a madhouse at Candlestick.
Think we're done? We're just getting started.
Young almost falls down, throws to the end zone.
It will change, and I'm not trying to tell you something. It's going to change. It's not like that. Okay, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. It will change. And it will change because they wanted to change, not because of me. It will change because they want to be champions.
Smith in a gun with Gore on his left hip. 3rd down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking, got it, post, and it's good! Touchdown, 40. Vernon Davis with the play of his life. It all comes to this 4th down. 4th and 4 at the San Francisco 10. Ryan in a shotgun. Rodgers to his left. 3 receivers right. Ryan takes the snap. Looking, pressure, throws middle. Broken up, biting. Navarro Bowman. And the 49ers silence the house.
Oh, let me tell you fucking cunt listener something. It's about time that I'm going to get cocky with it again. And maybe I have to be a little reserved about things because I wasn't sucking, Shanahan and Lynch trained dick, and I was, hypocritical when they were only winning 2 and 3 games a year. But the team that I've lived and died with for the better part of my life is now 6-0, and we're in the goddamn driver's seat. So everybody else can suck my dick. Welcome to the Gold Blooded Podcast. Daddy's here. The boys are here. Rob, got anything you want to say?
No.
All right. Steve, you want to go to injuries and then we'll recap the game, Rob? What do you think?
Yeah.
That's how we'll do this thing? All right.
Okay.
Steve wants to do the injuries so badly.
Deebo Samuel did not play this week with the groin injury. He is limited today, and he's day-to-day. DJ Jones did not play in the game with a hamstring injury. He is limited today, and he is day-to-day. Raheem Mostert had a knee sprain, but he played in the game, and he is limited. He's day-to-day. I don't think he had a single carry in the game.
No, he played special teams.
Yeah. Matt Breida left the game to be evaluated for a concussion. He passed protocol, and he returned. He's good to go this week. He said that he got poked in the eye. Marquise Goodwin left the game to be evaluated for a concussion. He passed protocol, but did not return, and he is expected back this week. Akella Witherspoon, Mike McGlinchey, and Kyle Juszczyk did not practice today, they are not expected to play versus Carolina. Any timetable on those guys?
No,
mid-November.
I think I saw somewhere that Akella was actually close to playing Washington, but there was a minor setback.
it's a minor setback, yep.
So he might play this week. He might not.
And I didn't put on there, I forgot to put on there
Staley.
Staley's probably going to come back before McGlinchey.
Yeah, Staley.
Maybe back. He may dress this week.
Staley practiced solo today.
Okay.
So depending on how that goes, there's an outside chance he could play this week. My guess is the way that school's been playing, he's probably not going to play.
Okay.
He might be dressed because we have so many injured players as a backup or ready to go.
Right.
But my guess is we don't see him start, or maybe they do like a split thing. Or something.
Maybe he plays a couple sets in the end of the game, depending on how the game goes as well. You don't want to throw him in a fucking, if he's in the driver's seat and they're trying to kill clock or something, maybe. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, School has been playing good, whereas opposed to the other side, Brunskill, not so good. So I feel like if McGlinchey was like iffy, he'd come back.
Yes.
Whereas School has been playing well enough to give Staley another week.
Yeah, and I don't think if we're in the driver's seat that you're going to see a guy coming off injury out there.
Right.
I think it's more like in case something happens to School, you might see Staley dressed.
George Kittle and D Ford were limited at practice today, and they are day-to-day. I see no reason why they can't go.
That's just the nagging stuff.
we released long snapper Garrison Sanborn and activated long snapper Kyle Nelson.
The final
from,
piece.
Yeah, coming off of his PED suspension, which as a long snapper, how do you get popped for PEDs as a long snapper?
I mean, maybe if
Because he's a cunt white dude.
Colin Holba or John Kondo or Garrison Sanborn was on some PEDs, maybe we'd be making field goals.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem.
It will be fucking hysterical. And if Robbie Gold doesn't miss another one. If that's the case, then they need to pay this dude.
Well, now that he's off PEDs.
Well, they already paid him. He got popped for PEDs, and then we gave him an extension afterwards.
Have you ever seen him?
No.
Now that he's not on PEDs, what if he can't reach the placeholder?
Right. Yeah, it's going to come up short. And we have a 1 week roster exemption for him, Rob. Could you elaborate on what that means?
It's reserved for special circumstances. In this case, because he's coming off suspension, basically we're allowed an extra active player.
Oh.
So by releasing Garrison Sanborn, we made room for the next thing you're going to talk about. We don't have to make room for Nelson until next week.
Okay. And
That sounds
headlining
like a hardball move.
headlining the updates is we traded a 2020 third and fourth rounder to Denver for wide receiver. Nice. I'm getting a visual of Kyle Nelson. Very nice.
Very nice.
To Denver for wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders, and in return also getting back a 2020 fifth rounder. So, going all in. We have now a first round pick next year, no second round pick. We traded that for D Ford. No third round pick and no fourth round pick. We just traded those away to get Emmanuel Sanders. So,
I think, if we're going to say in the draft, well, okay, we're going to draft more players, right? We're going to have to get rid of some of the guys we have. Now, granted, some guys will leave in free agency, but we have enough talent that I think the Niners will be able to make a trade for a pick or two week of the draft.
I think they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. And again, D Ford and Emmanuel Sanders are proven talent. Granted, whatever, but draft picks are not.
And it's funny, looking at Emmanuel Sanders' numbers for this season, he has almost double the production of any other wide receiver on the 49ers roster, and that's dealing with Joe Flacco as a quarterback.
So, he is set to be a free agent at the end of the year.
Yes.
So, if we re-sign him, then we've kept him, and was worth the draft pick because we've got a guy that we think is worth re-signing, right?
Correct.
If we don't keep him, in theory, depending on what we do in free agency, so if he leaves in free agency and we don't sign other players in free agency, we will receive compensatory picks for him leaving. Now, if he leaves but we sign a big free agent wide receiver,
it's a wash.
It's a wash. But if he leaves and we don't sign one, we'll get a compensatory pick. So in theory, I'm guessing he'd be worth, I don't know, maybe a fourth round.
I think a fourth is right on the money.
Let's say.
Yeah.
So our fourth round would be a wash that we gave up for him.
Yep.
And we basically traded from third to fifth.
Yep.
And you would also think that our picks are going to be late in rounds, and the Broncos' picks are going to be early in rounds.
That is why I loved the trade for D Ford so much, because I knew it was going to be a late second rounder and not an early second rounder.
So realistically, we went a full round and maybe a half at most is probably what we changed by signing him.
Yeah.
I'm 100% okay with that.
And he's coming off of an Achilles injury that he suffered last year, and he has not really looked like he's lost much, whereas we've seen many receivers take a full year until they start looking like themselves again. He's looked like himself since, if you recall the preseason game against us, he had a pretty big first quarter, and I mean, he's been dealing with Joe Flacco in a pretty inept offense, and he's still putting up numbers, and he's still getting open.
Maybe he's still going to get even better.
He's still going to get even better. I am for the move. Initially, looking at, at first glance, you're like, ooh, a third and a fourth for him and a fifth. Like, you think that's a little bit much, but when you start to think about it, think about how late our pick's going to be, I'm all for it, and I think that he immediately is now the best wide receiver on the team without question.
I would rather him than Mohamed Sanu.
100%.
And I think, and they gave up a second for him.
There were people that were saying that we were in on Sanu, And it's possible that we were willing to offer a third to get him, but the only way the Patriots could outbid us was by giving a second.
Yeah.
And
That sounds about right.
That might have been what happened.
That sounds about right.
The Patriots probably cringed at giving a second, but had to.
Yeah, and we probably said, whichever one will take a third will go. And then Denver said, oh, wait a minute. Now, I don't know if you watched Sanders' presser today.
No, I didn't even know he had one.
Sanders said that he was told there were 4 different teams he might go to. And he didn't know it was the 49ers until it happened.
So
there were other teams in on it. So that means we probably would have paid less had there not been other teams that wanted him. I'm guessing the Patriots might have been one of them, just because they signed a wide receiver, and I'm sure there's other teams that we don't know about.
We also have a very rich history of trading with certain teams, and Denver is one of them.
For sure.
We seem to do business with them quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he helps the boys over there, the receiving core.
I think you will.
Okay. Well,
Right. So, get into the game.
Let's start with the predictions.
Oh, yeah. So, who won?
Steve won.
I won. How did I win?
Because you had the lowest 49er score.
I did?
Yep. All of us had higher than 34.
Get out of here.
And you had them at 0.
I did predict a shutout. I
Yeah.
thought for sure that...
Well, the weather changed everything.
Of
I
course.
mean-
But no. I thought for sure that there was somebody else with a lower 49er score prediction than me.
But we all had to add points because we had points for Washington.
Gotcha.
So you actually got us on both ends.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you crushed it. So before we get into the details of the game, let's talk about how we each watched the game.
Yes.
Yeah,
Please do.
How did you watch the game?
Pretty comfortable in my nice new living room set. Furniture is still pretty new. Got it a
Yeah?
few months ago.
Yeah?
I turned the heat up a little bit.
Cool.
I had PJs, slippers.
Sounds
very-
nice.
very casual.
Sounds nice. How about you, Chris?
Got here a little later, but at the end of, when did I get here?
I think he took a nap in the fourth quarter.
Might have.
So you didn't have to work?
I did. I worked half a day.
Ah,
I got
okay.
here later.
Okay.
I was doing
So Joe and I sat in the comfort of one FedEx Field. Now,
I have been waiting. Mind you, people, we have a group chat. There has been no detail shared about this expedition that these two went on, so I have been waiting for this.
you want the whole thing? Okay, let's start from the
Waiting
beginning.
for this.
So Saturday,
2 o'clock.
I pick up Joe at 2:00. I need to go to a bank.
We somehow don't manage to leave my city for an hour and 15 minutes.
That's a very large exaggeration.
Okay.
But I need a bank. We go to a bank. The line's long. I'm not waiting in this line. Drive to the next bank. Line shorter. Get what I need to do. Get out of there. We get some groceries. It definitely took us at least 30 to 45 minutes to get out of.
That seems reasonable.
The start.
Stocking up for a road trip.
Yeah,
Makes
there was
sense.
no need. It was totally my fault. But it was because I had others,
I had
I have a busy
stuff
life.
stocked to
Yeah,
begin
Joe was
with.
ready to rock.
Yeah.
This was not on him, 0%. This was all me. So we get rolling. I find out that Joe's very obsessed with the point system on Waze that I didn't know existed. Did you know anything about this?
I know about it, but
you know about the
it's
point system?
hilarious that Joe's obsessed
It is
with
the best thing in the world because it means absolutely nothing. And he knows that. He knows that. He said that to me. He said that. He took one and said, I'm obsessed with this. It means absolutely nothing. Jessica thinks I'm crazy, but I'm obsessed with it. And he went in
So,
detail.
please
wait,
tell
it gets
me.
better. Wait, let me finish.
Okay.
About how he lost all these points when he switched phones. And now, mind you, I've seen I use it all the time. I use it when I come here. I use it when I drive from my house to the tattoo shop.
I
It's
love Waze.
3 miles.
It's by far
And
the best GPS.
at least 10 times it saved me from an accident on the highway and told me to go the other way.
Yep.
All the time. Nonstop. And I drive all day. But I see plus 6 points. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. And I don't have time to dig into it. So I go, well, how do you check that? So he's trying to, I can't even figure out. He's telling me how to check it and I'm doing it wrong. I'm like a child. So he gets me there, and much to his chagrin, I am crushing him in Waze points.
No, I wasn't upset about it. I'm glad that I know someone that's got that many points.
And so we both used Waze the entire trip.
Yeah,
So that he could get his points and I
he
could get my points.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was like, when I realized I wasn't gonna have to drive, I was like, in my head, it was already like, well, I'm gonna run Waze just so I can get the points. Like.
So there were points
This
of times.
was like weeks prior. I thought about.
There were
this.
points of time where it came in handy where I was watching something and I couldn't watch Waze and he could tell me like, oh, there's a cop coming. There were other times when I'm looking at Waze and it says cop and Joe's like, there's a cop in a half mile. I'm like, yeah, we're looking at the same thing, buddy. So that was a little wrinkle. We got into town about, I don't even know what time.
7:38.
7:38 o'clock. Checked into our hotel. Decided to go into Washington to the casino.
MGM Grand.
MGM Grand.
Was a fucking Niner
Nation.
Niner Nation.
Everywhere you turned.
Referee fucking
You couldn't.
presented.
Everywhere you turned was a hat, a jersey, a shirt, something red and gold.
And we
everywhere.
And of course, I forgot the business cards. Spot on. Well, what's that when you? What do you say? Like truth. Whatever. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know.
Truth serum.
I don't know. Allegedly, I might have taken a couple pills to stop with the motion sickness, but I took too many and I just got motion sick, and so I was not feeling so great going into the casino. But that turned around quickly when I won a little bit of money. So
Joe did good. I did bad.
yeah,
We got a burger. We weren't there long. Maybe
No,
an hour.
we watched Harbaugh lose.
Yep. We watched the end of the Michigan game.
Yep.
Cashed in. I paid my debt. We rolled back to the hotel. Got some sleep. Got up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Well, we checked the weather Saturday night and realized that it was going to be a very miserable day.
So I had purchased North Face quote-unquote waterproof
Oh, this is
pants,
good. You're going to love this.
which I offered to get Rob.
So Joe sends me a text message on Friday night. I might have it. Right? And it says, you're going to love this. Now, this is Friday night. I'm working. I'm tattooing. He says, it's a link, and it says, you're going to love this. I'm buying North Face pants right now. And in my mind, I'm like, this is so fucking random. Like, and it's just, now, this is off after years of friendship. These are the kind of text messages I get, right? So I'm nothing out of the ordinary. I'm buying North Face pants right now. I just got a pair of North Face pants for $40. Super light, and will pull over whatever pants I'm wearing. If you want me to grab you a pair, let me know. They are gray in color. If interested, I'll send a picture, and then you can make a decision. Now, mind you, I'm tattooing. I don't see any of these, so he keeps going, not realizing that I'm not, like, he,
Well, I just
he
wanted you
catches
to have
on
all
that.
the information.
Yeah, so, but this is happening because I didn't see it. Sends me a link and says that's the technology behind them. Then sends me a picture of him wearing the pants. Cool. So I don't see this until later, and I proceed to make fun of him for sending me this link to my tattoo customer because I'm talking about how like your mom will get you clothes and you open it and you go, you've literally known me for 40 years, and when did you ever think I would wear this? Like you've never seen me wear anything remotely like this. You bought it in the store and thought, yeah, that you know better than me what I want to wear. Like. You know what I'm talking about. You open a gift and it's just so far in left field.
Like,
you're
when your mother
do
buys
even
you,
know me?
like when your mother buys you a suede jacket.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, what made you think this was a good idea? And that's what I'm making fun of him for. I'm like, he's known me how long, and he thinks I'm going to buy some nylon North Face fucking pants? Not even thinking until Saturday when we're on the way to the game and it's going to fucking rain all day. He's telling me he's buying them for the game because they're fucking all-weather pants. And I'm making fun of him. Meanwhile, would be the best thing to have at the game. So I've got nothing of the sort. So we realize...
I did try to be a good friend.
We realize it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
It's going to be shitty. We've touched base with the winner of our giveaway.
Yeah.
By this point. Joe's texted with him. Everything
Name?
seems systems go. Brandon F.
All
We'll
right.
call him.
Yeah. Great dude.
Seems all systems go. He's coming into town, staying with a friend. We get up Sunday morning. We leave very early. We go to Walmart. We go to CVS first. I get a prescription. We wake up to my vehicle telling me that my tire pressure is low in one tire. It needs about 32 pounds. It's at about 17, so it's pretty low. We go to a gas station. We fill it up. We go to CVS. We fill our prescriptions. We go to Walmart. Walmart, again, crawling with 49ers fans.
Everybody
Everywhere
doing the
you
same
turn.
thing we're doing.
Not a single person in Redskins get up.
Buying ponchos.
Not a single person in Redskins get up.
Team from
said it.
Washington was what
Yeah.
he was saying.
Yeah, I'm racist.
Yeah,
When in Rome. So
yeah.
So we're looking for just what's the best stuff here. Like we go to the work section, we go to the sporting goods section. I buy I haven't worn a baseball hat in years. I buy a baseball hat, figure maybe it'll shield my eyes a little bit. They've got how many Tampa Bay Buccaneers hats do they have at this place in Washington?
75. Like no.
They had
three
Rams
different
hats.
styles.
They had Buccaneers
They had
hats.
Three
they had
style
Browns,
Ram hats.
Browns hats. You think they had a 49ers hat?
Not one.
Not a chance. I'm chalking that up to a national fan base. They
Yeah.
probably bought them all. So I buy some very, very right wing looking red plaid hat. I mean, I looked like I should have had a Bosa jersey on, and I should be voting for Trump 100%.
No
like,
doubt. Yeah.
no doubt.
We were going to get into your pickup truck afterwards.
So I buy 4 99-cent ponchos. What else did we buy? We bought some waterproof cases for our phones.
Yes, very smart thinking.
We really dadded it up.
Yeah.
We were very dad-like.
Yeah. I had packed a cooler for this whole trip.
We drive over to the field, at which point I come to the realization that I have only got one pair of shoes, which are clearly going to get soaked at this game. And I'm like, it is what it is. We're going to roll the dice here. We sat in the car while it downpoured for close to an hour.
I hit the rig.
Joe got rigged up.
Yeah.
We read online some conflicting reports about the stadium opening 3 hours before kickoff. So we leave the car, walk to the stadium to get in
at
exactly 3 hours before kickoff
10 o'clock a.m.
In the pouring rain.
in the pouring, driving rain.
And so we had looked at the radar and we were like, if we go right now, we're going to beat a huge torrential downpour. So we'll be able to get in and get safety.
Be under the roof.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no.
Well, when we got there, they were closed and they don't open until 11.
Right.
So we sat for an hour under one tent, the two of us.
Yeah. We found it was like a 6 foot by 6 foot pop up tent that
Like a ticket
they
gate.
have them under at each ticket, like whatever aisle row. There's rows of 50 of them, but we found one that was kind of like off to the side, and we just huddled underneath.
The one,
Yeah.
there was 3 of them. The one next to us was a dad and 2 sons, all 49ers fans. The other side was 2 guys, both 49ers. We haven't seen anything maroon.
No
Everything is red and
Washington
gold.
fans yet. Yeah.
Everywhere.
And
Everywhere
then-
you went.
And then so we sit there and it's about 10. We figure at about 10:40, 10:50, we're going to get booted because they're going to start getting ready to let people in. So at like 10:30, another Niner fan who's like an older black gentleman joins us. He's got a nice like leather Niner hat, but he has a clear plastic bag around the hat to protect
Yeah.
it.
He came from San Francisco for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he said he goes to like 4 games a year or something.
Yeah, so
2 road games. He's going to the New Orleans game too.
we get into the stadium eventually, and we're soaked. I mean, we're already fucking soaked. I mean, I have a Gore-Tex jacket on that has seen better days, and
I'm pretty dry at this point.
my feet had gotten wet at
I'm
some
dry.
point in the
I'm pretty dry at
in
this
the
point.
walk up. So we go and check out our seats. Fine is fine. We go back down, and we're in the main thoroughfare.
Our seats, by the way, we find out have no roof anywhere near them.
Yeah.
Even like when you go under, there's very little roof area,
Right.
and there's very little vending up there.
Yeah.
It's fucking nosebleeds.
So we go down to the main
Our
thoroughfare.
seats are great though.
Right. Yeah.
It's front row,
Great view.
and
like-
we were 3, 4, 5, and 6. Turns out front row has no 1 and 2, so we're also the end seat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right. And to be honest with you, I've seen a lot of football games live. This was probably the game that I was able to focus on and see the action the clearest and the most. Maybe because we were right up front, but I was like I was tracking numbers. I was tracking guys pre-play, after play. Like I was really able to have a good view on everything. So regardless, we went up, we checked seats out. Okay, cool. We couldn't hang out in our thoroughfare because it was not covered. So we went down to the main thoroughfare around the stadium where all the main vending is. In one of the end zones, they had bands playing. So at this point,
Have you seen any Washington fans yet?
A couple.
yeah. I mean,
It's a home game.
right. Yeah,
I'm not- it's no doubt.
At this point, I understand there's going to be more Niner fans because they're away, and the Washington fans know that they're typically going to be set up for.
Yeah, they're not
tailgating.
coming 2 hours early
right?
in
Exactly.
the rain.
But at this point, no doubt, it's 3-1, no question.
I would say more.
Yeah, if not more.
I
Yeah.
would say 5 or 6. to
Yeah.
1.
Okay. I didn't want to.
And it felt like a home game if the team wasn't 6-0. Like it felt like a 500 team, so some more away fans got in. That's what it felt like. As a Niner fan.
I realize I have X amount of business cards on me, so I start handing out business cards and I'm talking to people. So if anyone actually decided to listen, hello, new listeners, don't don't consider this in every episode for us. We don't go this deep into every episode, but nevertheless,
Yeah, disclaimer. If you're dying to hear the breakdown of this fucking hard watch game,
Yeah.
then I'm sorry. I did,
Yeah.
this was a hard watch.
We'll
and
get
this
ya.
is much more entertaining.
So I met 2 couples from England that were at the game. One of the couples came from England to Washington, and then they were going across country for the game next week. So I handed out probably 50 or 100 business cards. Everybody seemed super cool and into it, and we had some snacks. They were tasty enough, I guess. Nothing real.
We just kind of did laps because we didn't want to go to our seats.
Yeah, we didn't want to go.
They were giving out free towels for something. We grabbed a couple
Yeah,
of
we
those
just
to
kept
try
filling
our
our
seats
pockets
with.
with towels, yeah. Which later on we'd find out wouldn't have one fucking. There was no stopping the water in any way possible. So, okay, game time. We get up to the seats. Apparently, I had received a text from Brandon, said he was running a little bit late, but he'd be there. No worries. So we're there. Game starts, Rob? Is this how we'd say it?
Yeah, our section had maybe 10 people in it,
Yeah, it was not.
and 9 of them were Niners fans.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're on the Niners side, but
Right.
Was it possible for you guys to just sneak down to a lower seat?
probably.
Probably could have, but we
Yeah.
were fine where
Yeah,
we were.
we're just
There was
content.
no.
Our seats were great.
Yeah.
The only problem is when you're in the front row on the upper deck, the railing's kind of low, so they put this glass there.
Yep.
Which on a normal day is fine, but on a rainy day made it really difficult to see.
Yes.
So Joe moved up a row or two to see better.
Yep.
I had used all my drying implements, so I was kind of either tied there or I was going to get wet.
That's not why I moved up. I moved up because I didn't want my feet in the 3 inches of water that was on the concrete in that row.
But it worked because
Right.
I couldn't see shit. I
Yeah.
had to keep leaning up
Agreed.
over.
So something else that I want to give a colossal fuck you to is the FedEx field as a whole. Do you know you are not allowed to stand in FedEx field?
That's not true.
Well, okay, in our section then.
In the upper deck.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that.
It's retarded.
Well, there's a pretty solid reason for that.
What,
Because
somebody fell off?
One section over, you saw a guy almost fall off.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like somebody
Yeah.
caught him.
So, yeah, the guy caught him. No doubt.
Wow.
He was going to fall down.
It's
this-
that
I mean,
steep?
Yeah.
Well, it's also like if the whole section's standing and it goes,
Right.
it's going.
Right.
I think that's why. Like everyone down below was standing the whole game.
I know. But I guess it's one thing if the stadium's packed and everything. But it was... sitting in the rain is really hard. Wouldn't you rather stand in the rain?
Yeah, of course.
You know? So
yeah, the whole
that
lower
was-
level was standing.
Yeah.
Nobody was sitting in the
It's
lower
just
level.
so hard to sit in the fucking rain. It's just... There's puddles in my fucking lap.
And Joe was very upset and wasn't not very nice to the guy who was just trying to do his job.
Yeah, I was on the verge of fucking punching him.
He's like, "What? I can't stand." I'm like, "That's what he's telling you. Sit down." Jesus Christ.
I wanted to fight him. Yeah.
Like, yeah, we can agree it's stupid, but the guy's just doing his job.
Fuck
and
that guy.
and all he's got to do is say beep beep beep, whatever he does, and you're fucking toast. You're out. You're watching this in the pouring rain from the parking lot.
So we're watching a game. Brandon eventually...
So
It was-
now that we've gotten to the kickoff,
Okay.
you want, jump on my stuff a little bit, then we'll
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back
It was
and
well,
forth.
well. Let's just say there was one fan from Washington in the stands that we didn't really interact with, and then the guy working, and it was a fun interaction. Like it was fun teasing back and forth.
I was so
You know,
bitter.
it wasn't like
I was so
it wasn't
bitter.
escalated. It was more fun and.
I was so bitter about not being able to stand. I should have been... Like, I wanted to joke with the guy, but I was so internally bitter that I just couldn't. I suck. When do you want to tell the last part of the story?
Well, when we get done with the game.
Okay.
We'll go through chronologically.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
There's just
Offense.
such a
Yeah, there's way more.
Oh, there's such a...
There's
I
way
believe
more.
it.
There's
All right.
such a kicker.
So offense off the top, 283 total yards, 146 passing, 137 rushing. We went 7 for 16 on third down. We went 1 for 2 on fourth down, 0 for 4 in the red zone. We allowed 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, and 5 tackles for a loss, and committed 1 turnover. So opening drive, the offense was able only to get 1 first down following a drop by Goodwin. Jimmy converts a 3rd and 9 pass to Kittle before being forced to punt on the next set of downs.
Yeah, I mean, to consider anything being legitimate stats or football,
Yeah.
First of all, there were fucking 10-yard sections of like 6 foot wide that looked like 6 inches of water on the field. Like, there looked like there were pools, like koi fucking ponds at certain parts of the fucking field, right? I mean, it was when players would run, just even if you didn't see a puddle, when they would hit the ground, it would splash. You know what I mean? So drops, fumbles, this, that, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't consider any of it serious.
FedEx Field is notoriously bad.
Yeah.
It's known throughout the league. I mean, the RG3 thing, like that all went back. A lot of field shit there. Last time we were there, it was shit. So that is what it is. What really got me was when we did our bye week challenge, we were like, man, imagine like we're throwing our shoulder out to just heave this ball 25 yards or 40, whatever was our longest. And they're throwing bullets at 60 yards. Like, what the fuck? And to be in that driving rain, and it's so difficult to just sit. I mean, I got a soda in a cup holder in front of me, and I'm looking at it thinking I want to drink, and I'm like, I'm not taking my arms out of this poncho. So I'm like leaning forward and drinking out of the straw. The cup has, you know, it's flooded on the top. I mean, it's fucking driving rain. And to think that they're even throwing a football, let alone passing it and catching it and making fucking moves and turning, and it blows my mind. Like, it's a whole new level of respect
after the game,
sitting through that.
Yeah, when we got back to the car, I was like, I got in the back of the car and I took all my clothes off. My underwear was wet. You know what I mean? And I said to myself, if I was out there for another hour, I think I was an hour away from the beginning stages of hypothermia. My whole body was pruned.
Mind you, we sat through a rain game in December
in New England.
Yeah. Totally different.
Totally different.
It was like just rain coming straight down. It wasn't like pouring. And we were warm. We were dressed warm because it was winter.
Right.
This was like just cold enough, and it was driving rain. And it was so windy. I had a cheap poncho that ripped from the wind.
Yeah.
Just from the wind.
And
it was blowing.
And then just the standing water everywhere, so the wind would gust, and you would just get slapped in the face with water.
It was rough.
Sheets of water.
Totally new respect for guys throwing a football, kicking field goal, the whole thing.
Yeah. So that's why all this to anything. I don't. That's what I said to everybody. Like, I don't know what the TV showed this like. I don't know if you really could see how truly fucking awful it was, and it was.
It definitely looked bad.
Yeah.
And like very rarely is a game so bad that there's rain on the lens of the camera, making the game look like shit, because you can't be having that, of course.
Exactly.
But the rain was on the camera lens, and it made the game look like shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you could see the players stomping through puddles. We tackled Adrian Peterson, and he slid 50 yards out of bounds.
Yeah.
Like,
it was. So that's why, I mean, again.
And like I keep hearing people say, like, this defense has held 3 weeks in a row to the. Yeah, nobody was doing anything in that fucking weather.
Yeah. And whatever.
So basically, it's a miracle that any team was able to move the ball at all.
I have a whole new level. When they came out, the first pass they threw, I was like, Jesus Christ. I would have just kept handing it off.
Yeah, they did. The team from Washington, the whole every run.
That might have been the game plan anyways.
Agreed.
But when we started doing it, I was like,
yeah.
So on the second series, Jimmy converts a 3rd and 7 with his legs, and then a few plays later, he turns a sure sack for -6 yards into a 6-yard gain. Very gutsy.
Absolutely.
That's
and
my
especially in that weather, and that fucking 100%.
Yeah.
Yet again, it's knowing down and distance. It's knowing where you're at in the game.
Yeah.
He had one where he was almost sacked, and he got out and threw it away. He threw away a ball at one point. It's knowing when it was a first down instead of a third down. On third down, I'm going to run for it. On first down, I'm going to throw the ball away.
So for the past 2 weeks, Ross Dwelly has been filling in for Juszczyk. Very noticeable difference.
Oh, yeah.
Not quite as good as Juszczyk at being a fullback.
Well, he's a tight end.
On 3rd and 12, we're trying to set up a wide receiver screen to Coleman, and Jimmy ends up dropping the shotgun snap, ends up having a dive on it, and that ends up being a 4th down. And then this is where things got interesting. Out of halftime, Jimmy hits Kendrick Bourne for a big gain, and we end up moving the ball, pretty good until it eventually stalls out. But that ended our streak of touchdowns after halftime, coming out of halftime.
I mean, if it was going to happen, that's the weather.
But they were like doing it, like it was going to happen.
Yeah. At halftime, I mentioned that stat and thought to myself, this is the one.
And
because of the weather, and they start moving, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
What ended that drive, which is the talk of the fucking town, on 4th and 5, Jimmy takes a deep shot for Pettis, and he gets intercepted by the safety. So
Again, I know what everybody's saying, Steve, but again, at the end of the day, that game was so fucked.
Well, the play of the game on offense was Richie James. He shakes a defender on a breaking route and Jimmy finds him over the middle. He ends up going for 40 yards, and I feel like that was the offensive statement play of the game. And how Richie James does not get on the field more completely baffles me, because every single time that guy gets on the field, he's making plays. If you look at the wide receiver statistics for the season, he's got almost as much yards as all the other wide receivers, but yet he plays 15% of the snaps.
Yeah, he's got like 4 or 6 grabs for 110 yards. I looked at it today.
Since the beginning of this season, going to the even the preseason, Jimmy has shown his best chemistry with the wide receiver on this team. Used to be Marquise Goodwin, not anymore. It's Richie James, and I don't know why the guy doesn't get more playing time. He's a good football player. He's just a 7th round pick, and I think that's the only reason why he doesn't get enough playing time.
Well, no, that's not true, because our running backs are all undrafted. I think,
Well, when you have a 7th round wide receiver draft pick, it's not a good look to have him out there more than your 2nd rounder, your 2 second rounders, Debo and Catboy Pettis.
I don't know.
Well, at the end of a hard week, it's great to sit down, take some time off, and watch some football.
In the pouring rain.
In the pouring rain in a shithole stadium in a shithole city.
Game-winning field goals on 2-minute drives. Running backs racing down the sidelines and sliding 50 feet out of bounds with no one to stop them except for the coach standing there. There's nothing else like the NFL, and there's no better way to make the games even more. Is anybody going to join me here? Let's try this again. Even more exciting than to bet on them.
So do the smart thing and go to mybookie.ag. No one gives you more ways to win than they do. MyBookie's got the fastest payouts and better lines than any other sports book.
Don't forget, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. And mybookie.ag is the best in the business. It's where I play and where you should too.
Core talking points. I wouldn't be telling you guys to bet with them if they weren't the best.
Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with MyBookie.
If you're the kind of guy
that likes to bet a little and win a lot, try a parlay.
If you're breathing.
If all your picks come through. What, you like that?
If you breathe oxygen,
you'll multiply your winnings. And no matter how you bet, the NFL season is the best time of year.
If you're the kind of guy that likes more of something good and less of something bad, if you're the kind of guy that enjoys life and breathing,
if you're the kind of guy that thinks things are nice when they're nice,
if you're the kind of guy that thinks $100 is better than $10,
join now and MyBookie will double your first deposit. Use promo code
Gold Blood
to activate the offer. That's promo code
Gold Blood.
Visit mybookie.ag today.
you play,
You win.
You get paid.
All right, so just to wrap up on the offense, one statement that we made at the end of the offense got the ball up 6-0 with 6 minutes and 42 seconds left in the game. They eventually end up working all the way down the field, kicking another field goal to make it 9-0. We left Washington with 17 seconds left on the clock. We milked 5 minutes and 20-something seconds.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were doing either. They're calling timeouts before the 2-minute warning when we're still driving. I'm like, what are they doing?
That's the interim head coach for you.
What on the... and he's coached before.
Billy Callahan.
What a fucking joke.
When you're rusty, you're rusty.
That team's a mess.
All right.
I didn't even... It was so bad there, I didn't know who the quarterback was halfway through the game.
Yeah.
I kept asking him, like, is this Haskins or Keenum? I have no idea. And I couldn't even get to my phone. It was, like, not even happening.
Right, yeah, of course.
Brutal.
So, on to the defense. Off the top, 154 total yards allowed, 50 passing, 104 rushing, 3 for 9.
Passing.
Yeah. 3 for 9 on third downs allowed, 0 for 1 on fourth downs allowed, 0 for 1 in the red zone allowed. We had 3 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and 9 tackle for loss. Mind you, 3 sacks and 3 quarterback hits. Do you know how many times Case Keenum dropped back to pass?
3?
Well,
12. He dropped back 12 times, and within those 12 times, we had 3 sacks and 3 quarterback hits. That's 50% of the time we are getting our hands on the quarterback. That's insane. And we forced 1 turnover. So coming out the gate, it's similar to the Rams game. Washington marches almost all the way down the field, but just by running.
A bit concerning.
Slightly, sure. And coming into this game, They averaged 81 rushing yards per game, which is close to last in the league. On the opening drive, you know how many rushing yards they had?
64.
66.
Oh, pretty good guess.
Close guess. So, yeah, slightly concerning, but then I was reminded of what happened the week prior against the Rams.
Again, though, that's what makes it concerning. If it happened once, I get it, but everyone knew going into this game that Bill Callahan's going to run the ball, and they have Adrian Peterson. Then the weather made that even more of an obvious thing.
Yep.
Like, that's what concerns me. Like, everyone knew what they were going to do, and we couldn't stop it.
I can't be concerned because I don't know schematically what they're blocking, what blocking they did, what blocking the Rams did. I'd really have to take a deep dive and look at that, which I just can't.
Yeah, don't care.
Can't do that. I see all of our defensive linemen getting decent push early on, and then there's Solomon Thomas just getting driven backwards.
He ended up with a sack, though.
Did he end up with a sack?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he did. Maybe.
Definitely.
No, he didn't get one.
No? Okay.
So, and then the second defensive series, like the Rams game, was a return to form, more what we're used to. Forced them 3 and out.
Want a fun fact?
What's the fun fact?
I don't know the exact number, but the shortest NFL game without a weather ending it is where'd it go? 2 hours and 29 minutes in 1996. The Chargers beat the Colts 26-19.
Okay.
This game was 2 minutes
36
and 36. 2 hours and 36 minutes. But there's one more in 2009 that was like 5 seconds shorter. So
Yeah,
probably,
I will
it's probably
say,
the third.
you
shortest.
guys, that is the only thing that you guys lucked out by, is the fact that this game was over, and all of the other 1 o'clock games still had like 10 minutes
Everybody
left.
wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Including the
I was
players.
shocked. I looked at my watch or my phone or something at the end of the first quarter, and I was like, "Oh, that was like a 10-minute quarter. Like, it doesn't even make sense how fast that was."
I will say that Kwaski Tart is definitely playing the best football of his career. After 3 seasons of either being inconsistent or injured, I feel like he's finally coming into his own as an NFL player. Defense.
Solomon did not get a sack.
No.
D. Ford, Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead.
Yes. So, let's see. On the 4th and 1, the defensive front holds their ground, and Julian Taylor is able to get through for register a nice tackle for a loss. He's been coming on lately. And also, he was the one that scooped up the fumble forced by Quan Alexander. There's an offensive statement play of the game. That was the defensive statement play of the game, was that fumble turnover. That was big. And because eventually, when we're only up 6-0, and you just let a bad team hang around, I understand the conditions and everything is just a fucking mess, and it probably worked in their favor more than it worked in our favor, but one bad throw, one fumble scooped up and going the other way, they win this game. So, hey, defense made the play. Defense forced the turnover at the right time, able to scoop it up.
They were fun to watch. I'll tell you, the defense, they are fun to watch. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Again, I really felt like I had a great perspective on the game, and they were really fun to watch.
And I will say, this defense in the 4th quarter kicks it up a notch. We've dealt with this for the last 2 seasons, Shanahan losing seasons, where the defense would play admirable and then shit the bed on the last drive or shit the bed in the 4th quarter. But not anymore, since I feel like they've learned how to win and they've learned how to finish. They get tougher in the 4th quarter. Or they either get tougher or the other team has already said uncle in the 3rd quarter. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and then, of course, Nick Bosa puts a nice bow on the game with a walk-off sack, sliding through the mud.
Yeah, we actually did not see that live.
No?
We ran. Come on, Steve. The game. It was
when it was over, the minute you knew it was over.
Yeah, the minute we knew that it was over, we were the fuck out of there. So Rob, do you want me to sing?
As soon as he got the sack, we got up and left.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
He was like getting the sack. Like we didn't stay until it was definitely over.
Right.
As soon as he got the sack, I didn't see the slip inside because as soon as it was, I was gone.
Right.
Didn't he do it right after the sack?
He did.
Yeah,
It was
like
that
as soon
quick.
as that it happened, we were toast. Yeah, yeah. Like we were standing and went. So we.
You want to do the Beast of the Week deal?
Go.
Okay, so. Ooh, ba, ah, ooh, ah, ah. It's the Beast of the Week, ah, ah, ooh. All right.
Okay.
I'll go first. Offensive beast of the week for me is Jimmy Garoppolo. He needed to do what he needed to do, and he did it when he needed to. Running for those on those third downs, that's something we
Throwing
haven't seen.
for those third downs.
Absolutely.
He had
Both.
third down throws.
Escaping sacks in that weather when it would have been easy to just lay down and move on. Not Jimmy.
Joe?
I'm going to go for George Kittle because of his third down aggression.
Oh,
and
he's such a beast.
He's was like 15 for 15 on third down this year or something. It's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to give a co-captain to Robbie Gould. He made 3, which is a fucking testament to that man's skill. I don't think we could have made one from the 2-yard line out there. I honestly don't.
Okay. This is tough for me. But I think I'm going to give it, although it wasn't their best performance that I've seen this year, the amount of effort that I saw out of the offensive line, missing 2 starters, I feel like they deserve my nod this week as the offensive beast of the week. I don't believe in giving one offensive lineman because
in that weather, that could have been a problem.
it's a unit, and they played together as a unit, and they did what they had to do, and they're missing their 2 best linemen right now, and they're still doing what they got to do. So, offensive lineman for my beast of the week.
Somebody send it to the group chat, the Jimmy Garoppolo post game with Kittle in the background.
Yes, I did. Or maybe not. But
So, did you see it?
I didn't see it, no.
He's Garoppolo's being interviewed, and Kittle's standing behind him, waving to the camera, saying, "Hi, Mom."
All right, defensive beast of the week.
I'm going to agree with the powers that be that give the awards out and give it to Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa also received Rookie of the Week, I think he gave him, or Defensive Rookie of the Week.
Did he?
Yeah, he got an award this week.
I'm going to go with Armstead. He's playing really good football this year. I know it's a contract year for him, but he's playing really, really good football.
Yeah, I got to give it to Bosa. He led the team in tackles.
Rookie of the Week.
Okay. Led the team in tackles, got a sack, 4 tackles for a loss, and a quarterback hit in that weather where he
Animal.
is quite possibly the best defensive player that we have. And he's a rookie.
His second time this year being up for that award, by the way.
Is he the best player on the team?
I'm not going to go there just yet
It's soon. I know it's soon.
because
Is it possible that he's the best player on
It's a
our entire
possibility.
team?
it's a possibility.
I don't know about better than George Kittle.
I don't even know if he's better than DeForest. Like, that might be part of why he's so good,
Sure.
but he's a problem. And he's 22 years old.
Just turned 22 today. How fucking insane is that? What were you doing when you were
How
22?
insane is it that we've got 4 more years of his rookie contract?
Yeah. Well, you know those bosses with those contracts. We'll probably
Whatever.
deal with another holdout. We'll probably have to pay him a year early.
Whatever.
He probably won't deal with the 5th-year option, but I don't care. We have an elite edge rusher, which is all I've ever wanted in my life.
We have, first of all, the defensive rookie of the year.
I would say
No doubt
so,
about
yeah.
that. And maybe the defensive player of the
I
year.
was just going to say
Can you
that.
win both? Has that happened?
Maybe.
This year?
I mean, he's playing at an all-pro level.
100%.
Okay, so let's talk about all pro level, Rob. Let's you finish this story up.
So we make our way back to the car. Joe completely changes everything, right down to his underwear. I take a few
Including
layers.
the underwear?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I take a few layers of wet off. I put my jersey back on, so anywhere we stop, I can make sure everyone knows what we're doing.
Uh-huh.
I get in the car barefoot so I could drive because my shoes are completely soaked at this point.
We got the seat heats on. We got the floor heats.
Feeling pretty comfortable.
We got heat everywhere, blowing. So
Tire is low again.
not terribly, but low
Low
enough.
enough. So we get out of the traffic mess, stop and get some air, fill it up, get some snacks maybe, use the bathroom. I have to put my wet shoes on each time I get out of the car.
Ooh.
Barefoot, so it's not too bad. I get back in, take
I
shoes
have
off.
dry shoes.
We start driving. Tire starts going low again, a little faster. I'm like, man, I just get us home. I don't care, whatever it is. Stop and get air again. Start planning on where we're going to get food on the way home. Gas starts running a little low. Starting to plan, like, all right, we make it to this rest area. They'll have decent food. We'll get some gas. We'll fill the air. Probably have to make one more air stop on the way home. And right at about that planning moment, the whatever was plugging the tire and leaking has let go.
Boom!
And we have a flat tire.
We are on the Jersey Turnpike. We are 180 miles from my house, and it is slightly raining and dark as fuck.
Now, luckily, the whole ride home was pretty much pouring rain, except for maybe a 20-minute stretch when we got the flat tire.
Yeah.
So that is a major benefit. So we pull off to the side of the road. I have an unreasonable, slightly legit, but also unreasonable, nightmarish fear of getting hit by a car while changing a tire. It's a problem, but it's over in my head. It's over the top a problem. Like, I'm way more panicked about that than I need to be. So I tell Joe, I got all of this. Just watch the road. And if anyone is remotely off the side, just scream. And I don't know what I'm going to do because there's a car between me and safety. So I don't know where I'm going to go. But at least I'll know I'm going to die before I
go into traffic.
Yeah, like I don't know what I'm going to do. But I said, I don't just scream. I don't care what you scream. Just yell, and I'll know it's panic time. And I'm on frantic pace. Now, my vehicle's spare tire is underneath it, so I got to learn how to do this. So I do a lot of the learning in the car before we even get out. So I spring into action. The tire change probably went as smooth as possible. Like, I'm pretty proud of how quickly I got a tire off, car jacked, tire back on, everything in.
I'll put it to you this way. Rob did the car tire smoother than I put my rig away in a panic because of the situation we were in. I was like, fuck, a cop might roll up on us. I don't want him getting out of the car, coming with a flashlight, and seeing this fucking space-age looking rig sitting in between the seats. So I, in a panic, broke this fucking thing down. When I got home and looked at the way I broke it down, I was fucking embarrassed. So definitely Rob did better than I did.
It was a pretty good, smooth tire change.
Yes.
So I get the donut on. We read about the donut. Now, why you would make... I understand the theory of a donut, not paying for another expensive rim and tire. But why, on an all-wheel drive, you wouldn't make the donut the same circumference as the tires is way beyond me. So it's like this smaller tire, and like the car compensates for it and learns that it's on there and it doesn't wreck all your systems and stuff. But why? Just make it a bigger fucking tire. Like, all the shit. It's got a goddamn computer in the fucking dashboard. How much more does a tire cost?
You can't get another 2 inches on that circumference.
Like, it's so enraging.
It's crazy.
So it says to knock over 50, but it didn't really have a distance limiter. So we did fucking 70. 65. About halfway home, I said to Joe, now, most new cars, including mine, have locking lug nuts. We have to use like a special key to get them off. And I read the directions, found it right away, no problem. About halfway home, I went, I don't remember putting that key back in the car. I'm fairly certain I left it on the lug nut. So everything went so smooth, but I'm pretty sure that's gone. And I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. So we make it back to Connecticut eventually. I drop Joe off. I go home. Everybody's fine. Oh, as I put the tire on, we're looking at where the next rest area is, and I'm almost out of gas. So we're going to get off the next rest area. And then as we get up to it, it's like not what we wanted. And I was about to drive past, and Joe luckily said, "What about the gas?" And I went, "Holy fuck." I was just going to drive right past.
We would have ran out of gas.
100% would have ran out of gas.
In 3 miles.
And that is so unlike me, and he saved that one 1,000,000%. So we get off, get gas, get food, go home, whatever. So now the next day, I have to solve this tire situation. So I go to the dealership and I say, I lost the locking lug nut. I need a new one. Well, you can't buy just the locking lug nut. You got to buy the whole kit. It's $75. I go, how about this? How about you plug my tire for me? You take my lug nuts off with your universal key and just put the regular ones back on. I don't need locking lug nuts. It's 2019. If someone is stealing rims off of cars, they have a universal fucking lug nut key. Just like a car alarm. Useless. If somebody's stealing cars, they know how to turn a fucking car alarm off, or they're not stealing cars, or they've already been caught. Like, it's fucking 2019. So they say, all right, fair deal. Leave the tire here. We'll plug it. Come back. We'll put it on. I come back. I wait an hour. They come to me and tell me they can't plug the tire because it's too close to the edge, to the sidewall. They got regulations, bullshit. It's probably 1.5 inches off the side. They say, you can't buy one tire because it's all-wheel drive. Now, mind you, I can drive on this donut that's not the right size, but I can't buy one tire. So I got to buy 4 tires, $900. I said, how about this? How about you leave the donut on, take all my locking lug nuts off, put these regular lug nuts on, and I'll deal with the tire. All right, sounds good. Here's a quote for the tires. Free. They took all the lug nuts off, put the regular one, didn't charge me. I went home. I filled the tire with air. I plugged the fucking tire. I put it back on my car, and I've been driving it since. Fuck them.
And if not, you put the donut back on.
What I was hoping where that story was going, which I thought it was going there for a minute, was that you got home and the lock mechanism was still on your tire.
Imagine.
We looked
Imagine.
at my house. So
I once left something on the trunk of my car when I had that red Mazda and drove to work, and all of a sudden halfway was like, oh, fuck. Got off the next exit, it was sitting on the fucking trunk. To like Southbury. Like, I mean, it was a solid 20 minutes on the highway.
Somebody left a phone on my hood, and it went off. It slid up my hood towards the windshield, and then started sliding up the windshield. And I saw it happening. I got my window down and pinned it to my windshield and grabbed it. It's phenomenal. So to wrap this story up, so my wife, I get home and I tell her this epic fucking saga of this trail home. And she goes, God, how angry were you and Rob? She goes, that's not a situation I could really see you guys
either of us
she's like
doing well in.
She's like, well, first of all, like, it's not like both of you to run out of gas. And on top of that, I'm sure you guys were so mad having to change a tire in the dark after sitting in the rain and all this shit. And I was like, actually, there was no anger. I'm like, now, had the Niners lost that game.
Oh, if we sat in the rain all day and they fucking lost to the team from Washington then got a flat, I would have lit the car on fire and jumped in front of a fucking semi.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
Yep.
I would have lit that fucking car on fire and jumped in front of a fucking tractor trailer.
I wouldn't have been far behind. I
Game
probably
over.
would have dove right in. Yeah.
But luckily, we are.
Not luckily.
Luckily for our families and my fucking children, we are 6-0.
Yep.
And walking out of that place, all 49er fans.
Oh, it was so good. There
glorious.
was so many funny fucking things being said.
And the whole day. I mean, some of my favorites were 49ers fans in the bathroom yelling, don't be upset with us, it's just business. I met a guy in the bathroom getting dry with he had a red poncho on, and he was so upset that I had a clear poncho, and he never thought to put a clear poncho over his jersey, and he had this expensive jersey that no one knew he had on. He was so upset that nobody knew he had a 49ers jersey on. What else did we see, Joe?
I don't know.
I saw 2 pregnant women.
Yeah, we saw 2 infants.
Multiple. At least 2 young children. There was a child 4 to 5 seats down from us with a booster seat out of their car that they brought into the stadium for him to sit on so he could see the game.
Insane. I would not bring like a 12-year-old to these fucking conditions, let alone
our wives would have 100% said no. I'll be here
I
at the
wouldn't
hotel.
have brought my wife to that.
100%. And if they made it to the parking lot, would have sat in the car and said, "See you when you get back."
Yeah.
I don't know. People are fucked. I'm
planning on going to the Baltimore game.
And
my wife mentioned, I said how bad it was, and she mentioned how terrible that was, and I go, you do realize you signed up for the Washington game, for the Baltimore game, right? And she goes, I go, that's December.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, but it would be snow and not rain. I go, not necessarily. Joe and I went to fucking New England and got rained on. And she goes, well, you better find a listener to be your backup date, because if it's like that, I'm not going.
Which we should
Brandon
say,
F might get another ticket.
Yeah, Brandon F, totally cool dude, legit 49er fan. Would watch a game with him again.
As everyone in this room knows, I'm a bit of an introvert
Yep.
and not likely to make new friends or go hang out with new people. I could definitely spend an afternoon with Brandon F watching a football game.
Yeah, not a terrible human being.
Good guy.
Couldn't find anybody to give the other.
Tried to even buy us beers. The 2 guys that don't drink.
Couldn't find anybody to give the other ticket to. He said he tried. He just couldn't convince anyone to sit in that weather. And really, I can't.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I mean, really.
Not gonna lie, I was sitting there pretty happy that I didn't go.
Yeah. But with that said, email us in your water sports stories. goldbloodedpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out. Instagram. Did you check out the live videos I did?
No.
Thanks for the support. Gold-Blooded Podcast, one word.
He goes, nope.
There's a Patreon.
Could you hear me on there telling you that, all right, enough? Like at one point when I was like, all right, I think people are going to stop watching.
I don't
Could
know.
you hear it?
Watching them, yeah.
Could you hear me tell him when it...
Now that you say it,
But I knew you said Sun. I didn't know.
But I went back to try to like find them again, and they're just totally gone. So it is what it is.
Yeah, they're 24 hours
Yeah,
stories.
but I didn't know if maybe as the poster you had Patreon, Patreon /Gold Blooded Podcast. Make a donation. A little bit of money, a lot of bit of money, a little bit every month. We appreciate it. We need it. We use it. It's great. Get it to us fast. Money. Thank you, please. With that said, over and out until episode 2, where we got mystery games for you. Bye-bye.